Hey, I'm your host, Scott, Dr. Jigs Goldfine, and this is the eighth episode of the Jam Fans Forum, in which expert panelists provide their top picks in various funk music categories. This time around, we're taking on the Purple Majesty topic of the five top Prince funk songs of all time. Prince, baby. Making this Jam Fans Forum extra noteworthy is it's the first one standing alone, as previously this was presented as a special edition under the Where'd You Get Your Funk From umbrella. With that, there's a new opening, a new closing, and theme music, so let me know what you think. Joining me are three esteemed Prince authorities who are all making their Jam Fans Forum debuts. First, we welcome Chris Horton, also known as Mr. Christopher, who for almost 20 years has run the Funkatopia website that was visited by Prince himself, and today includes a popular podcast with co-host Michael Bland, a radio station, and music reviews, and more. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We also welcome Duane Tudahl, an award-winning author who's written two of the most thoroughly researched books documenting Prince's prodigious 1980s studio sessions, as well as contributed to the new deluxe reissue packages from Prince. So, Duane, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Finally, but not least, we welcome Steve Grievous, also known as Stevie G, co-host of Ricky Vincent's The History of Funk radio show, as well as other KPFA content. Stevie, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much. It is fantastic being here and joining the group, joining the band.
Mm-hmm. While new to Jam fans, Duane was featured on the Truth and Rhythm show, and Chris can be seen on an episode of Where'd You Get Your Funk From, so be sure to check out those in-depth interviews to learn more about them. And thank you to the entire panel for keeping the funk alive and for giving your thoughts on Prince for this episode. Thank you so much. The full criteria set forth for this discussion is listed in the show description, so check that out there. But I will say only songs commercially released under the artist name were eligible, and associate artists will be featured in other episodes, so we'll cover them in that. This is purely Prince and Prince by the symbol name. Before we dive in, let's briefly touch on each of your personal selection methodologies for this top five Prince songs category. So when this came your way, what did you kind of think in making your choices? So let's start with Mr. Christopher on that one.
Wow. It was really difficult because I guess one of the core things that you want to focus on obviously is, what your definition of funk is in general, and so I kind of went with the core defining sound of funk, which would be Parliament Funkadelic with James Brown kind of mixed in, just kind of that. I also didn't, there was some really, really great songs that just kind of had some happy moments to them that I really kind of faded out because funk has just kind of this overtone for me. It just has this overtone of it's just a heavier, funky sound, very, very bass heavy type of a track. But I did stick to the same old school definition of funk, which really helped me narrow it down and kind of pinpoint the songs that I was really focused on, because Prince has done a lot of funky type songs, but I really wanted to make sure that I stuck to the core definition of it, for sure.
Makes sense. Stevie, what about your process?
I would say it kind of was just going back through my own history with Prince and thinking of the type of songs that would put some oomph in me. And for me, that's everything. That's not just the music itself. It's the lyrics. It's how it made me feel. Some of it would be happy, or it could be a little sad, but whatever that was, that kind of gave me like some oomph. Yes, there's always some Sly Stone, Parliament Funkadelic, and James Brown in my DNA. I would call Sly my uncle, musical uncle. But that type of connection is what I was looking for as I went through Prince's catalog and picked out some ones that I thought would be funky for the show. But I have to just say that funk for me is actually, it includes everything. It really does. So trying to guess as to other people's interpretation of funk and then try to distill that and make some type of amalgamation of all that into what it could be for everybody. that was a little challenging, but hopefully we've got some connections there.
Sounds good, Stevie. Duane, what about you?
I went back to what how Prince described funk. And I wrote down the quote he had. He's done it several times, but I thought if I'm going to be talking about his idea of funk, I want to pay attention. He said, if you can describe it, it ain't funky. He said the time they're funky, but they're hard to describe too. It's just something you have to experience. He also mentioned Maceo being funky. And I said, the guy knows more about this than I could ever imagine. So I would say, I again went back to the Sly stuff, went back to James Brown, P-Funk, George Clinton stuff, just looking for what that was. And again, it's very bass heavy, very, you feel it in your chest. It's that sort of, it's not dance music, but it's just something that seems greasy and something that seems thick. And it's hard to explain. But again, it's like, you know it when you hear it. And that's sort of where I am with that. So
Thick is a great word for that. Thick. Yeah. That's a great word.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I mean, Prince straddled so many genres so effortlessly and tied them all together the way he did that it can be challenging to, sort of pigeonhole or put aside, the one that's funk from the one that's not. But for me, it just hits that certain spot, in my soul, in my heart, and, gives you that funk face, and you can't help but move to it and bob your head as hard as you might want to resist if you do. And there usually tracks for me too that when I would put on the new record or whatever, it would get to that one and I would just be like doing a double take, or it would just immediately captivate me because I'm a funketeer. So yeah.
when he does so much, I mean, he does rhythm and blues, pop, all these different things, but funk stands out. He's got something funky on basically every album, and it's sort of the core he builds out from, and that's, and rhythm and blues, a lot of stuff. I've said before, he really should have a section in the store that's not just rhythm and blues or whatever. It should be a Prince section that's just his sound, because there's no way to put a specific definition on it because it's so wide.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start getting to our picks. So keep in mind, we'll have 20 total picks when we're done. If you're coming up and someone beats you to a pick, you'll have to go to an alternate. This one's going to be especially competitive, I know. So have those alternates ready and let's let it rip. So let's start off. Let's go back the other way. So let's let Duane go first.
Good. I knew you guys are going to be doing the same stuff I got. Musicology, the title track, is the first one I would suggest. And I apologize if I take this one off anybody's list, but there's things in there. It's incredibly funky, and it's got references to all the funk, James, Sly, all this stuff. And the video has Maceo in it. So again, we're going right back to the very definition. And if Prince is going to talk about this and talk about funk, to me, it's exactly what he is. He's kind of presenting this to all of us, saying, this is my perspective on this. He's teaching his lesson, but he's also using funk as the way to teach the lesson. So that's what I would say on that.
Yeah, he name checks Earth, Wind, and Fire, James Brown, I think, probably Sly. Yep. And 2004, he definitely wanted to give a old school throwback. Yep. And it helped him have a comeback of his own too. Oh yeah.
At that point, he was kind of he wasn't selling, and Musicology came out and did the thing where they put the CDs on the seats and the sales went up like that, or at least how they counted them. And so it was a good thing. I think that it really kind of helped people recognize, and that was right before when they did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's a lot of stuff that was happening right then with that. So he was able to capitalize on what he hadn't for a while. He was kind of, it had gone down a little bit, and he came back up. And that happens with anybody's career, especially if you've got a 40-year career, you're going to have highs and lows. I don't think they're necessarily lows, but lower for Prince. He started selling out bigger places again. And I think the song itself brought people back into the tent. That's my thought.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts from the group on that one?
No, I think it's a good one, and it was on my list, and then it was not on my list. Not for any other reason. I mean, just like Duane had alluded to, the lyrics of that song really kind of do give a little bit of a history lesson of some of the funk pioneers and music pioneers named all through it. And of course, it also starts out with, don't touch my records. So I think it does lend itself really well to to the funk genre for sure. But didn't replace anything on my list, so we're good so far. I got a feeling that Stevie G is going to mess me up here in a minute.
No. I think we're going to be good. I think this is going to be really nice. It'll be good to see the collisions and also the like the free runways that we'll have to pick out some of this. But I would say about musicology, again, just even the name, right? The study of music. I think it's fantastic. I remember I saw the concert in Oakland.
Okay.
I was actually doing an assignment. I'm a technologist, so I was doing an assignment at the time in Oakland, which is home for me, by the way. The Time was his guest artist there, but Rhonda Smith was his bassist for that particular show. And she's one of the proteges of Larry Graham. So just the driving thump, the thumping and plucking style of Larry that Rhonda exuded and was just masterful throughout. Prince again has always been, I don't know what the guy's was not good in. I mean, whether it was music, lyrics, again, his live shows, presentation, just everything. And once again, I think he came out on top. I thought it was an amazing show to see and witness and live. But just that song itself, musicology, yes, it was definitely funky. Enjoyed it.
And how cool was it that was also broadcast to movie theaters? We were just talking about Sign of the Times, and they also broadcast musicology show to theaters, and you could get the CD at the movie theater even too. So that was awesome.
Yes.
Stevie, let's stick with you. Great pick, Duane. Thanks for starting us off. Stevie, let's move to you. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with DMSR from the 1999 album. So did I grab one? Did I grab one after all? I might have grabbed one. So I just thought it was again, it's that driving, it's that thing. I think it is a dance tune. I think it just hits at all levels. And it comes out, and sort of for me, the funk is yes. And I guess for me, it's like right above my head here, the 1999 album backdrop. But I think of music, and I think of how do we get into like the fun or the funk, or what gives you release? How do you vibe, or how do you connect with it? And that song immediately grabbed my attention.
That was my first pick too. It was going to be.
That was your number one first pick. Yep, that's it.
And the unbelievable thing about that, when you think about it, when I first bought that on CD, that record, it omitted DMSR.
Yes.
It left it off.
Yes.
And amazingly, if you guys can believe, and I don't know if you're even aware, but early reviews of that album, some critics like dismissed DMSR as like filler. It wasn't getting respect from like some of the rock circles. But for me, I mean, it's probably my favorite funk song by Prince. That's me.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice.
Good one. Wasn't it on the soundtrack for what was the soundtrack? It was
Risky Business.
Yeah, Risky Business. That's how I got it for a while.
Yeah.
That's how I had to get it.
Yeah.
No, I remember.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I think like CDs, when they first came out, they had like a 74-minute limit to them. So DMSR would be left off so they could actually put it out. But then as the technology evolved, then it became part of the reissues of 1999. And of course, on some other compilation records of Prince and what have you. Like I think it was on Girl 6 or something too. So
that synth part
Girl 6 is really good.
The synth part and that sandpaper kind of block sound, and
it's cool. And then again, lyrically, I mean, this was a song where he invited, I mean, some of the lyrics say, all the white people get on the dance floor, all the black people get on the dance floor. So again, this whole thing what music is able to do, which is connect us all together, where whatever the barriers might have been, whatever their considerations of categories or divisions and what have you, this music just brings us in. And this was the epitome of that, I thought, as a funk jam, without question.
Yeah, and I think over 8 minutes too. So gotta love that.
Loved it.
Yeah. Well, great pick. Needless to say. Thanks, Stevie.
Sure.
Chris, what are you going to move to?
All right. Well, yeah, DMSR was going to be the first one that I was going to ramp off. It's like somebody's going to snag that. So I'm going to snag one that I think that is also on other people's lists as well. And that would be, I'll come back to that, but let's go with Let's Work.
No, painful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Let's go with Let's Work. And not only do I have the album here, but this is the original album. You could see it was $5.99 when it was purchased. And guess what? Believe it or not, the poster is still inside.
Oh my God.
You don't have that hanging in your room?
Inside. No. The poster is still inside. So, yeah. So
painful.
I would have to say Let's Work off of this. Obviously, one of the core parts of a bass track of a funk track is the bass line, and it is an oft celebrated song, not only with all the Prince acts that are out there. If Let's Work is not in your set list, if you're a Prince impersonation band or whatever it is that they call them, it's just not an effective set list as far as dance is concerned. Let's Work this was actually probably the first Prince album that I owned, that I purchased with my own money. I did have Dirty Mind before this, but Controversy just had some type of, just as an album in itself, just had this overall consistency in the sound, and in that driving raw funk. And Let's Work is the epitome of that. It's not just the bass line, it's also the space in between the notes. It just gives just enough time to breathe. It creates that, as Duane was saying, that gives you that funk face where you're just like, God dang, it drives it. No matter if you're sitting down working or if you're out on the dance floor, no matter where you are, you have no choice but to move. It pumps you. It's a classic. Yeah. Let's Work for sure, off the Controversy album. Undeniable. Easily. So yeah.
Love it.
Was that on anybody else's list? It's got to be on somebody.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's on the list.
Sure.
especially the extended version.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
back in the day was the hardest thing to find. I remember trying to find that, and you'd call places, they said, we don't have it. Yep, there it is. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I remember that. I remember the first time I got the 12-inch, I taped the first time I played it because I didn't want to play it too often. You know, it's one of those things that you just want to get that. And boy, that's good. And I remember feeling like the needle's going to pop off of this one because it's so good. Man.
Mm-hmm.
You stole it.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, I had to steal something. My heart was hurting that Stevie G stole DMSR from me. I was like, God, man, that was a crusher. That was a crusher, and it was for Scott too. So that's good. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'd say arguably Let's Work, his most iconic bass part. You know,
yeah,
I think you can.
And I have a question. Do you guys know? Was that an Andre Simone like line that I know that I think that was sort of as he was moving out of the group, but I thought that it was something that Andre Simone had come up with, but definitely whoever did it, I mean, it was just an amazing line and an amazing effort, just all the way around. I just enjoyed it so much.
Great song.
Do you know? I mean, that's a relatively. Is that a question for Duane? Duane?
For anybody, for anybody, if anybody knows, I'm just throwing it out there as a question.
I'm trying to think right now. I'm looking it up in my notes right here. I don't think anybody else played on it, as far as I know, and I don't know if it's an Andre. I know there were several Andre things that got done, right? Do Me Baby and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that were Andre influenced. I don't remember if this one was. I haven't heard that.
Okay.
It was.
The only thing I know about Let's Work is that on the remix version of it, it's Morris Day on the drums.
Yes, that's
the only thing that. And this song was actually considered for the Rebels album that never saw the light of day. But yeah, that's the only thing I know. I think everything on there is Prince and obviously background vocals that came from a variety of uncredited folks.
Probably when it might have been when it was Let's Rock, which is the original version. It might have had Andre on it.
Gotcha. Yes, Let's Rock was Andre Simone, right? Correct. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So other than that, you can think of it at the moment. Don't
Yep.
quiz me.
All right. Well, needless to say, another great pick, Chris. Way to go.
Yes. Yes.
I definitely had on my list, but it wasn't my next pick, so I was glad for that at least. My first pick out of the gate is going to be one that was released as a B-side of Let's Go Crazy, the second single from Purple Rain, which was Let's Go Crazy. It was also included on the Girl 6 soundtrack, which I think we already mentioned. And it was, another controversial one because of the lyrical content with Erotic City.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
Alive,
We
which
all have that on our list.
Yep.
Every one of us has that on their list.
And
Yep.
was it Weekend FUCK or Weekend Funk? It goes both ways. But when it came out, it truly sounded like nothing else that was out. And supposedly it was inspired by Prince attending P-Funk at the Beverly Theater in 1983. I was at that P-Funk show. Did
Wow.
not know or see Prince backstage, but apparently he was hanging out backstage, and then went into the studio and the story goes cut Erotic City. So, and P-Funk later even covered it. George Clinton covered it later on, but just that the beat and the sound, it was irresistible. Caught fire, that catchy chorus, and again, even though he had done so much to that point, it just sounded like nothing else. The way he brought it all together,
Incredible.
And wasn't it also? It was also stolen for Biker Shuffle. Is that the name of the song? There's a dance called the Biker Shuffle, and they actually stole the Erotic City riff.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know how they've managed to stay alive so long and not be sued or have it, because as far as I know, neither Prince nor the estate would ever gave permission for clips to be used. As far as I know, I mean, I've had speech from Arrested Development on the show before, and I asked him about Tennessee that he stole from Alphabet City, and he told me the whole story about that, but they just took it. They didn't ask him, and he had to actually come face to face with Prince on that one. But yeah, so going back, Erotic City is used pretty much verbatim as the backdrop for a song called Biker Shuffle that you'll find online too. So, but good pick. Make Love, Not War, Erotic City, Come Alive. You got to make sure that you indicate that it's the 12-inch version that is the mastery here.
Yes.
I think the 7-inch version of any of these tracks that we're going to be naming here are just, it's insulting to even consider. So anyways, yeah. Great.
Also notice that it doesn't even on the front doesn't even mention that the B-side is Rock City. So if people are just flipping through, they may not know. But what a 12-inch this was, because long version of Let's Go Crazy too, just fire.
Oh, that's the only one I listen to now. The 12-inch of Let's Go Crazy is to me the proper mix. Yeah, I was going to add every time I hear Erotic City, I hear White Horse by Laidback.
Oh, yeah,
which was released the year earlier. So I feel like somehow Prince was a little inspired by that, because if you listen to it, it just sounds like that. So that's where I go with this. The first time I heard it, I thought, boy, he's kind of lifting a little bit of that, but he does his own stuff. And knowing that he kind of got inspired by P-Funk, George Clinton and stuff like that, I could hear it.
That's great. It was one of the things that was happening at that time, since it was part of the Purple Rain and Let's Go Crazy. And, he had done the movie, so he's coming out. And, I'm thinking about, Prince's origins, right? He was this guy who, produced that first album all by himself. He's doing everything, playing everything, doing everything. But through the arc of his life, how he was more inclusive or collaborative in working with a number of artists and really sharing. And isn't that almost the epitome of just growth, right? Like I started one place and I moved throughout life into another place. And Erotic City, again, he paired up with Sheila E., right? Homegirl from Oakland.
Absolutely.
But Prince and Sheila E. did that. And I think it was credited as Prince and the Revolution on there. But it was Prince and Sheila E. that actually did that work. So it was amazing. Yeah. Special.
Well, I do actually have another story about Erotic City, and that is that until probably only maybe not even 10 years ago, I didn't realize that it was So Pretty instead of Thought So Pretty You and Me, because there was a radio edit that was playing here in Atlanta for a long time that said Thought So Pretty You and Me. And for a long time, even when I was listening to this, it was so, the way that they say it, it's not like succinct. They don't really accentuate it when they say it. So I was just sang right over it. And then I happened to be sitting in a restaurant and that song came on. I was like, oh, I can't believe they're playing it. This is really cool. And then they bleeped the word. And I was like, why are they bleeping thoughts? And then it dawned on me to go back. And I was like, oh, it's not even that. So yeah, that's pretty. So now when I hear it, it makes me laugh because I was stupid for decades. So there you go.
I was the same way though. I will fess this up because a lot of these things I didn't until I started looking. I didn't start looking at it, and you get the words in your head and they just stick with you for life. I mean, I've got songs in my head that I cannot figure out, and that's just, I will continue to use the wrong lyrics for life, and that's fine. Yeah.
She's got electric boobs. Yeah, I know.
I'm glad you
I kiss
mentioned
this guy.
I'm glad you mentioned the white horse thing because I forgot about that. But yeah, it's a good call because I was DJing back then. I would mix those two together, so they were excellent for that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's move to round two. Duane, lead us off again.
Again, is that fair for me to leave you guys off? Because I don't want to eat anybody.
We got it. We're all going around.
Go for it.
Okay. My second one is, let's look at my list here. Le Grind.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I figured you got an album that was supposed to be called the Funk Bible. You really should pick something from there. I'm assuming everybody either considered something. Yeah. Oh, you got to grab that off the shelf, or I meant to.
Yeah. I figure I'd grab it for you.
Thank you.
It's so visual.
My Spinal Tap album, actually.
Yep.
So I would say that to me, it's a great way to lead off that thing. It's a perfect, just like musicology. It's the launching track for the album, and the whole album is tough to boil down to one track because there's so many good songs on there. But to me, it put the fun in funk. It's just, even the thing that gets whispered says, "Come vibe with us. Welcome to the Funk Bible, the New Testament." There's just something about that, and it kind of that era of '86. Because I got one or two other songs, maybe on my list. Maybe some you don't expect though. But that to me is a great album, and it's a great lead off. And I can't imagine what else I would add to talking about this other than just listen to it if you haven't for a while and you remember, oh damn, this is good. So.
Mm-hmm. It is. That's a monster track.
Yeah. That'll get you moving.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was supposed to be, and that album was actually, I guess, referred to as the Funk Bible.
Right.
And really, in all honesty, I mean, it's a great album, but I don't think it's his funkiest album by a long shot.
No.
But I mean, yeah, it's a great. But the mystique and everything that went along with that album, with it being released and then pulled, well, not even released, it was sent to the record stores and then pulled before they actually got released. Yeah. And then all the mystique and everything, again, not to do another plug, but I had Ingrid Chavez on the show. She's been on the show a couple of times, and we talked about, how she felt about this album being pulled, because then a lot of people point to her for being responsible for this album being pulled off the shelves and then Love Sexy being put in its place. So there was just so much mystique, and I had this bootleg on, not this one in particular, but I had an old, and it was an old cassette actually, that was the Black Album. And I don't even know if this obviously can't be one of the originals. If it is, good on me, but yeah, I mean, the mystique that just went with this album and that it went unreleased and sat in the can for so long, but it was one of his most famous albums just because of all the
mystique,
all the secrets around it. It was just like, oh my God, you got Black Album. How'd you get the Black Album? And then when eventually it was released, it was just like, meh, old news.
It was unreleased in the States, right? It was unreleased in the States.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
No, until 94.
Until 94?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I must have had a bootleg.
I think we all did. I mean,
We all
I
did.
just had the
yeah, I mean,
bootleg of it.
and the
On vinyl,
I
bootleg,
guess
had a
that's what it
bootleg of it.
was.
the
Okay.
bootleg I
okay.
had 10 tracks on it because I had 2 extra tracks at the end. I
Mhm.
don't remember some of the other, but I had a buddy that go back to the album stuff. A buddy of mine worked for a company that got albums. As they were being paid, they worked with Prince, and they were given this stuff for Christmas beforehand. And they came to them. They already gave him the Black Album, and they came to him and said, "You're going to have to give everything back." And 1 or 2 of the people didn't say, "I'm not giving this back." Oh yeah, I'll give it. So we taped it directly from that vinyl. So again, getting a great source at the time. You're just hoping they because the bootlegs were kind of fuzzy and scratchy and stuff like that back then. Even though we got excited when we saw it on a disc and we thought, oh, this has got to be clean sounding. No, it's just whatever goes on the disc. We were kind of
Right.
chumps on that one. But yeah, that was a big summer.
And a lot of uncredited artists on that particular song, Le Grind.
Yeah.
Because that one has like a bunch of horn sections. Because Eric Leeds is on that. Atlanta Bliss is on that. I know Bonnie Boyer is on that. Kat is on that.
Mhm.
Who else is on that?
I want to say Susanna, but I'm trying to think.
Yeah, Susanna Melvoin, Jill
Yeah.
Jones, right. That group. Sheila E's even on there too. So there's a lot of people that perform on that, but all of them went uncredited.
Yeah.
So it's great track, good pick.
Right on. All right, the infamous Black Album. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm guessing my prediction is going to be that album's going to be visited again sometime today. I'm guessing.
It will be. And I just want to take this moment to thank you, Duane, for so far picking 2 songs, neither of which have been on my list.
Okay.
And I appreciate it. So far, both Stevie and Scott are on my shit list because they both picked stuff that were on my list. So,
Well,
right, go ahead.
Be glad you're not going very last though. So Stevie,
That's
Stevie
true.
G's
G's up. Stevie G's up. Okay, number 2. Let's see. Always in My Hair, a B-side.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So B-side from Raspberry Beret, the Around the World in a Day album. So that was December 29th, 1983. Solo performance by Prince, but it was just amazing, and it floored me. Just floored me, and I don't even know how to describe it still, but every time I have to listen to that.
It's great.
Mhm.
That is during an era when he had the best B-sides. I mean, his B-sides during that period were just as good as anybody's album tracks.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'll come back to something in a second. I'm trying to think something in my head. Keep going though. Because I feel like there was a riff that came from somewhere else in that song, and I have to look at my notes.
from 85, right?
83 to the end of 83.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
December 29th, 83 for that. Mm-hmm.
That was B-side to Raspberry Beret.
Yep. You got it.
Yeah. It was, and I think what's cool about that song is that song is also seen. So I can't think of all the artists that have covered this, but I know a lot of people have. I know Bilal has covered it live before. I know that Usher has covered it live before. So, and I know wasn't there a girl group that also, so it's been covered a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just which is I find most interesting out of everything about it is that one of the things that's cool about it to me is that it's not it was a B-side. It wasn't like released as it was a B-side. It wasn't released as its own single, but because of the fact it's such a strong track, it ended up getting a lot of attention on the front lines and has been revered and covered and by a variety of artists. And I think that's really, really cool. It's definitely a great track.
Yeah. D'Angelo covered it as well. It's
D'Angelo. Yeah.
Yes, just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, the lyrics. It's not just the, it's not just the music itself. It's the lyrics that go with it. I just think this guy was an incredible writer. On top of all the genius that's associated with the multiple instruments, it's the lyrics to me. It's funky. I feel it.
That one supposedly was about Jill Jones.
Yes.
Mm.
Yep.
On top of that, I realized the song that he kind of pulled from was Sex Shooter. I'll read you what I wrote before. The reason Prince on the work order he listed Sex Shooter but it can be traced back to the influence of the Apollonia 6 song. Prince literally sampled himself when he took the lead line from Apollonia 6's Sex Shooter, 4-note riff at 9 seconds in, slowing it down slightly to create a recognizable sequence that comes between "She's always there" and "Telling me how much she cares." But when you listen to it, it's just the same. It's the same exact riff, just kind of slowed down a little bit. I didn't know that until I started doing that. Somebody gave me a mix. They put those two together, and I was like, "Oh, damn, that's exactly what it was." So,
Wow,
Prince inspired by himself. So
that's something.
yeah, got to pick the best, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Well, Stevie, thank you for that one. Another great pick. And I didn't see Chris cursing, so I don't think he had that one next.
I did not. It was so, yeah, it wasn't, yeah, not on that one.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my assist, Chris. There's my assist.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Get off the shit list.
All right. Is it back to me now?
It is.
I'm going to go back to this album. Because, I had to debate because, yeah, there's some other ones I'm nervous are going to be picked up, but we're going to go back to this one, and we're going to call out Lady Cab Driver.
Nice one.
Good. Very good.
And the reason why Lady Cab Driver obviously is a huge pick. I don't know necessarily if there was a 7-inch version of Lady Cab Driver or not, but if it is, I don't want to hear it because the extended, once they get into the interpolation later on in the song with just the driving bass and the weird elephant noise sounds and all this just thumping that is happening during Lady Cab Driver, and obviously the little excerpt there of him and Jill Jones in I think is just it's one of these songs. Here's my story with this song is I borrowed this album from a friend of mine in high school. I was actually I guess it was it was high school. I was either just coming out of junior high or was going into high school when this album came out. And I borrowed this album and I played it in my room. And when Lady Cab Driver came on and it got to the skit part of him and the cab driver, I was literally holding my breath because I had never heard anybody do something like that on recording. It was not only just all the profanity that was through it, that I sincerely want to, all that stuff that was throughout this album, but that particular part was just like you had to turn it down and just like you're like trying to find the headphones and making sure that your parents did not.
No, your parents could not hear that song. Yes.
Did not hear this song.
No.
So not only on top of that, it just had this overarching just funkness to it that was just I don't know. It was just everything that was building, all the pieces that were built onto this song. It's one of the funkiest tracks on 1999 besides DMSR. Thank you very much. But it's just one of those tracks that's just, if you spend time to re-listen to it, you guys can probably hear it in your head already, but it is just such a funk track. And just that thick bass line along the lines of what he was doing with like Let's Work and things like that. It's just that little bit quick, but still enough to breathe and, get your feet moving and just create that funk face. Yeah, right. That's my pick. Lady Cab Driver from 1999.
Well, at least he was sincere about his profanity.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think part of it was the intensity that part had, that's why he didn't want people to hear it. I mean, it was just so raw. And that drum rhythm on that track. Amazing.
Duane, did I ask Jill about that when she was on the show? Do you remember if I asked her?
I don't remember that one.
I don't
remember.
I don't know if I asked her.
I've heard her talk about some of this stuff. Not necessarily that song, but there's a couple other songs that got pretty raw.
There's always.
Yeah. There was a 7-inch of it, by the way. It was released in England, I think. We also put it on the 1999 box set. And my dog's agreeing with me, apparently.
There you go.
Yeah, so I think I'm pretty sure we put that on the 1999 because we were doing all this. Yeah, we were using all the B-sides we could and all the released versions. even the edited ones, which are never my favorite, like you said. But there's completists that want to have everything on those things, so that's why we did that.
Well, Lady Cab Driver is one of those, and again, it's some of the it's the storytelling. You know, I mean that song actually reminds me a little bit of was it "Living for the City" from Stevie Wonder, and it just reminds me of not just again putting out a song or some music, but telling a story. You know, there's a narrative here, and it always reminds me of that. So Lady Cab Driver, definitely funky, was a fantastic choice.
Yeah,
Totally great.
Just love all the different parts of it. You know, goes in so many cool places.
It changes faces like 3 or 4 times. It's really great, but with the still same bass line all the way through, but just has different tastes. All right.
I hope people blow off the dust off these old albums and start listening to them again.
I hope so too,
because they're really worth listening to. Sometimes you forget how deep and how good these things are until you're reminded. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Indeed.
Scott, I think you're up. Let's see if you're on my list. Let's see if you're back on my list again.
Well,
Let's
I'm
see.
glad to say that you didn't undermine my next pick, so thank you for that. But I'm coming from the same basic era, and it's another B-side.
Oh, no.
This
Oh,
one
no.
was released
no.
as the B-side to "Let's Pretend We're Married," which was the 4th and final single from 1999. And we, of course, are talking about "Irresistible Bitch,"
The good one. The good
Yep.
one.
the flip
That's a good
side of
one.
"Let's
Yep.
Pretend We're Married." And, you know, when I first heard this one, he was coming so hard with it, you know, with that raw rap singing kind of style and just that relentless groove. Supposedly, maybe this was originally going to be a time track. I'm not sure, but it certainly kind of went in that direction. And just, you know, every Friday night you call me, but I'm not home. You know, it is just incredible, just that beat and that drive. And I really like that other alternate version too that came out in the box set,
Right.
because that vocal seems even more raw somehow.
Mhm.
Just a
Yes.
killer track. I had in my notes here that it was initially recorded November 1981 at Prince's Kiowa
Iowa.
trail home in Chanhassen, and same time as "Fill You Up."
Yes.
It says here actually it was supposed to be on the Times Ice Cream Castle album originally.
Yep. And it was
Really?
mixed with "Fill You Up" too. "Fill
Right.
You Up" and those "Irresistible Bitch" were actually like a merged song.
Right.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like just the same
Yeah, I
time
can
frame.
hear
They were like meant together. Yeah.
I can hear that.
Yeah, so
Good one.
apparently they finished it at Sunset Sound in Hollywood and 1983. So for me, it was probably Prince's first closest attempt to doing some rapping kind of style.
Yeah. And a big shout out, obviously, to Wendy and Lisa on background vocals on that track.
Yes.
All right, Wendy and Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
So
All
This
right.
is good. This is good stuff.
now this
Good
one
job.
is
So-
only
so far,
this
none of
one's
us
only
have
4
screwed up.
minutes long. This one's only 4 minutes long, so I would have loved to have heard like a 7 or 8 minute version too. But
My dogs feel the same way. Apparently,
Yeah.
very eager for that.
all right, that wraps
Duane?
us up for this round. Duane, you're up. Number 3.
Let's do somebody else first. I want to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody. So,
You sure?
what do you guys? Yes, I don't want. Just
Chris.
mix it up. Mix it up.
All right, Chris, go ahead. Go for it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right. All right.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I don't want to give away authority, but you know. Please.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, because you had referred to going back to the Black Album, you were making reference to that. So I think I know which one of those closing tracks of Black Album may be that mix. I think you know which one. So I don't want to step on your toes on that one because that's a fantastic.
I only
take it away from you.
No, I only took one from each album, so I didn't go back.
Oh.
To it. I didn't double.
Yeah. Okay.
So
All right.
I know you're going to say Rock Hard in a Funky Place, but
I was, but I'm not gonna. I was gonna say that, but I was gonna go somewhere else. So I'm gonna let Rock Hard be somebody else's pick.
Okay.
Because. And I'm going to go with the B-side to Sign of the Times, which is the extended version of La La La, He He He.
Good one. Good one.
Now, The thing about La 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 He, which was a song that was co-written by him and Sheena Easton, actually technically on a dare. For those that don't know, Sheena basically told him that she didn't think that he could write a song with that title, and they actually ended up creating this song together. And I think the lyrics are Sheena, I believe. Lyrics are Sheena, and it
was called My Tree, I think, when she did it.
Right.
I think that was So yeah.
Yep. So
good one. That's a
the
good
thing.
one.
The thing about La 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 He is that, again, the magic is in the extended part of this song when they start getting down and doing the whole the bass riff on this. Just give me this. I mean, the whole bass solo thing in there, and the put your foot on the rock, and the extended version of this song hits so many different flavors and faces of funk in it, where the actual song itself, the 7-inch version, which can die in a dark hole for all I care, really, in all honesty, because it is a great track, but the essence and the beauty of La 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 He lives in the 12-inch version of this song.
Right.
It is just, again, there's so many faces of funk that are in the extended version of La 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 He. It's untouchable. I just think it's one of these great lost. I'm actually surprised that it didn't get the love like She's Always in My Hair did, because I've never heard anybody cover it. Which is surprising to me because it's such a masterpiece of a song, especially musically. So anyways, there you go. I'm going a little bit off the rails with La 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 He B-side to
the 10 minute 30-second version is fantastic. You're right.
Unreal.
You know, it's always reminded me of Atomic Dog.
Yeah, that dog sample beat
exactly.
thing going on, which is probably why your dogs were stirring around back there, Duane.
Yep. It's a great one.
I agree. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I definitely agree. Yeah.
Great pick. I love it going
I'm going to mute this
deep into the well.
That was cool. What I like about it is that it was like a dare. Again, I like it where everyone can relate to something. Everyone can relate to when they were whatever. Maybe we're being dared now as adults, but I remember being more when I was a kid. I was dared a lot, and to come up with that, right? To come out with something like that is just amazing.
Yeah, it's such a great track.
Genius.
Great.
The artist. That's what he is, or what? Well, still is. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I can put people in the past. He still is the artist.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if we're going to go out of order, is it going to be Scott next or Stevie G next? Which one are we going to
do? We got to go Stevie. I always got to be magnanimous and gracious as the host and go last to give you guys first crack.
He's playing cleanup. Scott's on cleanup.
All right. So, Stevie, you're up.
Here we go. Okay. I will go for title track for Sign of the Times. Sign of the Times. That for me is just funky. And it's the song when I first heard, I said immediately, this is time capsule worthy. This is what I want to see what happened on planet Earth, in the 80s, in the late 80s. I think this is the song that you put in, so this is what over my, I guess my left shoulder, where I got it in the background there, the album cover at least. But I just thought, again, the lyrics, that guitar, Prince always, it was always something where he comes out with the sound and you just have not heard it before. And then you have to sort of get used to it. And I'll share something else with you all about my relationship with Prince. Every time I first heard the album or song or whatever, I kind of didn't like it. It was that different from my senses to kind of try to process. But then as I kept listening, I was like, oh, I love this song. And that goes from soft and wet all the way up through. I mean, it was always like my senses were shocked. And then there's the synthesis that goes on where all of a sudden I'm now loving this song. And definitely Sign of the Times is one of those for me.
Agreed.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a great one. I mean, I think that was such a turning point, fulcrum actually, technically, for what Prince was doing, considering that he had just got done firing the revolution. And I think he had a lot of he had a lot to prove with that album, and it was just groundbreaking in so many different ways that he was just showing. And that was the case, Stevie. I would agree that was the case with all of his albums. Every single album that came out by Prince, you did not know what to expect. You just kind of just like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen here. We don't, and that's never changed. I mean, that was consistent from album to album. It's just the next album, you didn't know what direction he was going to go or what he was going to be messing with. And he was just such a master that there was just not a lot of consistency in his brilliance. It was just all over the place.
And what's wild to me is that the track was not originally intended to be a starter. It was not originally intended to start the album. It was originally it was in the middle of his other, Crystal Ball, or they used Crystal Ball. And so it was one of the, just on like side 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. And when he redid this, it became the center track for the first track, the opening track, which is opening tracks Around the World a Day, all these other things, always what he started the concerts with for the most part when he did that. And you just didn't expect what he's going to do. And that's the thing, kind of blew you away thinking, where does this even come from? Yeah. And I agree. It's an epic track.
And his live performances of that song are so different. Every time he plays it, he does something different and a little more trippy, and it's just he really goes the distance when he plays that song live.
Right. Yeah.
I love the point you made, Stevie, about the layers or challenging aspect of some of the material he would do, where they were growers, because there was so much more than met the eye in some cases, or it would be maybe dissonant in certain ways and might, not be immediately digestible. But that's part of what made him so fantastic also. And also, Sign of the Times is such a great example of how he could take something that seemingly had so much simplicity to it and make it sound so amazing. Because, when you break it down, there's not that much going on in Sign of the Times, but what is happening is fantastic. And Chris, you mentioned about space. Yes. Sign of the Times, man, that really makes so much of the space.
Yeah. Definitely great use of it.
Indeed.
So,
and it's very minimalist too. It's very minimalist.
Yeah.
That's the fun. It really says everything stands out. Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, and a bunch of us having just seen the Sign of the Times movie, it starts off the movie too. So
yeah.
I remember when I first saw the movie and I heard that he was doing the rock guitar to it, I was just like, oh, this is so amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think also what's interesting to me is if you listen to the performance he did for was the VMAs that after the album came out, was it VH1 or was it?
I think it was VMAs.
Yeah, it was. That was a recorded track. That was, if you listen to the actual basic tracks, was the recorded track from the Sign of the Times concert. It was he just really used that and then played guitar above that on that show, sang and played guitar. So the rest was already recorded and mixed for the Sign of the Times movie. But when he did that, he just had the whole band out there kind of miming it, where he was and he just played the guitar and sang over that, the live version of that.
Which is actually very shocking because he hated doing that.
I know, but yet he did. If you listen to it, you can actually hear it's exactly that. And it was a surprising thing for me when I was doing the research on that for the next book. Yeah, and they've all kind of said, yeah, that's what it was. But they all played on it, so it's not like they didn't play on it. It's just that I think he wanted to have it perfect,
right?
Like that. So yeah, so I think that was the first time he played the Sign of the Times stuff on American TV. So it was, something that was pretty important to him to make it right. So that's, but it is surprising though, because that's not something he did very often.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Duane,
I don't think that takes away anything from him just saying it. That,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Duane, is that a First Avenue shirt you're wearing?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
First Avenue. It's a bootleg. It's just an First Avenue. Yes.
All right. What's your number 3, Duane? Number 3.
Well, one last thing I got to say about Sign of the Times for Duane is I got to mention, I've said it before, but my son is also named after Sign of the Times. Nathan. If we have a son, we're going to call him Nate.
If it's a boy.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's pretty cool.
Cool.
Well, I was named Duane from Purple Duane, so. Yeah. Yeah. The next one to me is also a B-side from this era. Also, B-side of "I Wish You Heaven," "Scarlet Pussy," which is
wow,
a great
digging
one.
deep.
It's a good, and also
Ooh.
another Sheila track because that was originally recorded for Sheila. So that's when you're talking about Sheila's in the Erotic City. This is the same thing.
Yep.
To me, this song could have fit on the Black Album. It would have been perfect on the Black Album. It was recorded right in between the mastering of the Black Album and the decision to not release the Black Album. So in that month period, it was in early November of '87. So I think it was probably influenced by the Black Album. I think he was in that funky mode. And so I think that's where that came from. But it's again, we go back to the thick stuff. It's thick, it's greasy. It's just something that to me is very strong. And I really do think that another track that he gave to somebody was Sheila and then pulls it back, which is kind of frustrating, I imagine, for some of these people when they have a good track and then to have him kind of pull it back like he did with Kiss or other songs like that. So, but it's a great song. It's a great song. So.
Great pick. Whip her out now, puppy.
Another dog thing, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going back to the Atomic Dog type thing, yeah. So
Well,
Yeah,
again, he's
but I
clever with his
absolutely-
lyrics. He's so
I
clever
definitely
with his
could
lyrics.
see. Yeah, I
I'm sorry
definitely
about
could see him. No, I was definitely just going to say I absolutely could see Sheila doing the song. That's got Sheila's. I mean, it's so mastered in a way for a female vocal delivery, which is I think one of the reasons why he had to go to his Camille voice to do this track, because that's just that's a great pick. I would have never. It's not that I wouldn't have picked that one, but I guess I haven't. Yeah, that's a good deep track, man. Good deep tracks. Excellent job.
Good.
Prince
I'm glad I
doing
didn't
that.
step on your toes. I'm glad I didn't do that.
No, not on that
So
one.
far, I have him on your S list, so I'm good. I'm good.
Prince doing that deep voice in that one too,
Yes.
with the effect. Yeah.
That was when he was really experimenting with the sounds with the Pouplasson and things like that, just kind of playing with all the different sounds he could do. And he did that with the Black Album too. So it really is that era of stuff when he was very heavy into that funk. And then he kind of stepped back. I mean, Love Sexy's got some funk on it, but not the kind of pushing aggressive funk like that. So.
All right. Where you going,
All right.
Scott?
Let's go.
All right, I'm up. Well, you know what? Hate to be repetitive, but I'm sticking with the same era as well. And this is the third track on the first disc of Sign of the Times. Housequake.
Nice.
Jump up and
Nice.
down.
Good one.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'll never forget when I put this album on. Sign of the Times, of course, was the lead single. And hadn't heard Housequake until I played the record for the first time, the album. And as soon as it started, it was one of those ones that I immediately was just so captivated. And I equated to certain tracks throughout my life that when I first heard them, they were so radically different and so funky that I just almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. So to me, I put it on a level at that time, of course, a lot of times transpired. But for me, it was similar to when I first heard Flashlight by Parliament.
Wow.
I mean, it was like, it had hip hop influence with the funk. It was unlike anything, in my opinion, that he had done to that point.
Agreed.
And it was so infectious, so catchy, and just so much fun too. Like, what was that? Aftershock, and all that stuff. I mean, it was a gas. And of course, being from Los Angeles, I'm used to the quakes, so had some funk to it, and you're right there. And then, then seeing the film and the dance move he does on that backwards crawl, and the splits, mind blowing. I mean, just taking it to just the nth degree of everything. But for me, I think Housequake, arguably, really up there near DMSR for me with Prince.
Good.
And that's the Detroit crawl, just to be specific.
Shut up already.
Damn.
Damn.
Wait a minute. I think I might actually have that. I do.
Shut up already. Damn.
Nice.
So, and
Nice.
Very nice.
I got the clip ready.
they say this was recorded the day after he disbanded the revolution.
It's true.
Quick.
It's true. Yep. Yeah,
So-
and it- actually, the day after he announced it. Yeah, he disbanded him 2 or 3 days before that, but he did announce it, or a little before that. But yeah, this is the day he announced it, and yeah, it's crazy. But I personally feel like he was trying to express kind of a party mood, like he was excited about, like after a breakup, somebody goes, "Oh no, I'm a great thing," and they do this, this over exaggeration about how happy they are, and I feel like that's a little bit of that personally. But I love the song. And it's so, you're right, it's so different than anything else he'd done by that point.
Yeah.
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 It's good
So
stuff.
thank you so much for not picking it, everybody. All right.
That was one of the ones I considered. One of the ones I considered, but did not make my list.
Let's see if we can move out of the Sign of the Times time frame here. We're really making our home in there. So, Chris, what do you got?
All right, we'll do that. I'm going to take it into the 2000s
Oh,
with a little album called Rainbow Children.
nice.
And the name of the track I'm picking is 1 + 1
One
+
plus
1
one.
is
Mhm.
3.
Good one.
That, again, one of the rules for me in picking the songs was if when it comes on, I have a hard time staying in my seat or air guitaring or air drumming or whatever it is, that's going to be really one of the high decisions, the high marks on decisions. But 1 + 1 + 1 is 3 is an amazing, amazing track. It's just got this weird guitar pitch to it that it's this, everything about it, just the way that it thumps. You can't get around it. And this is probably, shockingly enough, if I had to pick my top 5 favorite albums by Prince, Rainbow Children is
Wow.
actually technically in my top 3, because it's one of these albums that I think just goes, it just goes in a territory that he hadn't gone before. It was so polished and so strong. I can't get around this album. There's not a weak song anywhere on this album. But anyways, for those that are not familiar with it, 1 + 1 + 1 is 3 is definitely a go-to. There's another one that I debated on this album. Actually, there's 3 tracks on this that qualify for top funk. Well, I don't know if it's going to end up on anybody else's list, so I don't want to. I don't want to.
One at a time.
I'll wait. Yeah.
That's fair.
But I'm sure that there's a couple more tracks that are on here that definitely qualify for funky. But that's my pick. 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. We got it out of that era. We got it out of the 80s era there.
Well, we started with musicology, so we had something already.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, so.
And I wouldn't expect anything less of you, Duane.
It's funny because the fan base has a love-hate relationship with that album. It's not my favorite album, but live, it's exceptional. He took everything on there and made it this epic thing. I saw him do Everlasting Now on the Tonight Show. I was at the taping, and I sat there going, jump up and down. And it was just, I felt it. And I'd never been moved by the album, but once I heard it live, I went back and revisited the album. A little too jazzy for me, but
no, it's amazing.
But when it came live, it was exceptional.
Yeah, the one night alone tour was amazing, and of course, it stands out for me too because that was the first year that I actually got to meet Prince. So to actually be with him and be able to show my appreciation and get a little bro hug in, and
So you got to watch his Where'd You Get Your Funk From also. And you'll get even more good stuff.
There's more stories where that came from. Yeah,
I bet. And I don't have anything like that.
I got lots of Prince stories. Like when he shut down my server. I got those stories too.
I'm right with you.
Watch that episode.
Well, I'm right with you with the Rainbow Children, Chris. It's also
nice.
I think a masterpiece. And I thought it was his best, most fully realized work since Love Sexy before it.
Right.
That was
thematically, right.
Yeah.
And they do actually have versions of this album without the God voice through it. So you can actually find it where they've actually removed that God voice. So if that's the part that agitates you, they actually do have versions that are out there, floating out there without it. So,
And that track you
Unofficial.
picked,
correct, unofficial, correct.
just
It
like
exists.
unofficial of Love Sexy tracked, right?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
I think
But yeah.
there were versions of Love Sexy was released tracked for DJs. I think there was some versions that got released. But
They
yeah,
were
we all
designed for DJs. They were
yeah,
designed
I think there
specifically?
was some that came out eventually that were tracked. Yeah, which I thought was I kind of got tired of having one track on that. That was a little annoying for me. But it's a vision. So,
all right.
Well, I enjoyed Rainbow Children in the sense of it felt like it was a return home for me. That's how I felt about it. It was like a return home a little bit. So maybe for, the people who had been on the ride with him from the very beginning, I thought might be more in tune with the Rainbow Children project.
Yeah.
That's how I always felt about it. And it just seemed, again, it felt like home when I heard it and just went through it. So I've always just loved the album. I always thought it's up there. So I agree with you, Chris. That was a high standard, high bar.
I just feel like it was the first album in a long time that was grown folks music that actually was just kind of kept up with his audience. It was just like, this feels good. This feels right.
I see that.
And I didn't mind that the live versions of that track, 1 + 1 + 1 is 3, would usually go on a love roller coaster by the How Players. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all.
So it was your pick, the title track of this album, or were you about to pick something else off of this?
Who? Me?
You, yeah.
I'm not going to say yet because it's Stevie's going next.
Am I going next?
Okay. All right. Okay. That's right. Go ahead.
Is it time? Go ahead.
Done. Go for it.
All right, this is another B-side. This is out from April 10th, 2001. And I think it was originally from one of the NPG Online where you could download it. And it was called When Will We Be Paid?
Nice one.
Ooh.
When Will We Be Paid? So again, to me, it's a funk jam. Again, it has to me, first off, it's a cover. All right. So it's from actually the Staple Singers.
Right.
And it was originally from their 1970 We'll Get Over album, Mavis Staples. And, Prince, huge fan of Mavis. But When Will We Get Paid? I thought the lyrics, the time, it's funky. It's what funk has always been for me. It ties into a gospel origin story as well for me with it. The blues with it. It's funky. Its origins, its foundation, its building, and his delivery was just masterful. So I don't know. I can't say enough about, especially again, it was a cover.
That song actually, I can see it being more of like a funk track in the relation of like a funkadelic type of layer of funk, where it's just kind of like I wanna know if it's good to you, baby. And that kind of like roll of a funk. It's not really necessarily a dance track, but it's just got that growl, and it's got that aura about it. And the reason why that song really kind of messes with me more than anything is because I was at both of his final shows in Atlanta. And it was the opening track. Well, he opened with this instrumental song called Confluence, which was written by it's a little instrumental track, but When Will We Be Paid was his song was the first opening track of that final show in Atlanta. That's how he opened, was with that track. And so that was the last time that he ever played that song in his final concert. And so whenever I hear that song, that's the first thing I think of, and it hits hard.
Yeah.
And that was inappropriate. I think appropriate in Atlanta. That'd be something, again, to tie in with the historical context of it.
Yep.
I mean, I went to school. I went to Morehouse there in Atlanta, so
Nice.
I'm very familiar with Atlanta, and it's again, it just it does what music does. I think I vibed right away. You could feel it. I could feel being uplifted by it, even as discussed something that was pretty heavy subject. but it just hit at all levels. And I think you said it earlier, thick, like funk is thick. This was very, very thick.
Right.
But it had that Staples kind of gospel soul earthiness to it, you know?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Indeed.
Nice. And I look back so fondly on that era too, with the MPG Music Club and all those going on then. For the real hardcore fans, it was a blast.
Oh, the amount of stuff we were getting like that, and then it got taken away quickly. But that was something, because that's the way I think we all wanted to see things growing, and I would love to see that now. You know, with that kind of monthly thing with a few extra tracks and a couple of videos and rehearsal stuff. You know, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Cool pick, Stevie.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, let's keep rolling. And Duane, we're up to you again.
I am going to go back to the final performance night in Atlanta, and I'm going to do Black Sweat. Black Sweat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I stole that off anybody's list.
Nope.
It's a solid one, but he did that. He did that the last night. I did the first performance though. I don't think he did it the second. I don't recall. But in fact, that was ended up released as a download from that show. And that's the last official release that he did before he passed away. So it's always kind of a deep thing for me, but I just love the song. I mean, it's just a great groove. It's a fun song. I mean, it's hard not to get, again, like you were saying before, lip syncing and just air bass and stuff like this. It's one of these songs, and maybe air bass is the definition of funk. I don't know, but you know, it seems like every time there's something in there that makes me just move. And
it's a fun video too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's just that whole the contrast of the black and white film, and you got to see some of his humorous side. You know, yes, and he did do that in the final show, not in the second to the final show, but he did do that in the last show.
Right. Yeah, so it's all this. So.
Yes. Yep.
No, it's good stuff. Great. That was one of my favorites. I thought, you know, and that era has, I think, even the ones that weren't the biggest albums had a couple tracks on there that would be something solid. One of the things I'd love to see is like kind of like the I don't have it here. Thought I did. Kind of like his hits album, but taking that from the post-Warner stuff and having all the different really song tracks that maybe didn't get the recognition that they deserved, and making an album of that, like the greatest hits post-Warner. I think that'd be a good album, and I would definitely put Black Sweat on that, something like that. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought Black Sweat should have been a hit, you know, certainly a bigger hit, because I think if it had come out a decade or two earlier, probably would have been a bigger hit.
Right.
To me, it kind of picked up and kind of continued like the Kiss kind of thing, you know, with like, again, in Sign of the Times, with that minimalism kind of approach,
right?
But really funky. And very, very, very cool.
No, it's one of my favorites from that era. So.
Yes, you listen to some of Prince's songs like Black Sweat, and you're just like, I don't understand why this never got on the radio and didn't like. It's just mind-boggling to me. Other songs like Love, I hope that's not on somebody else's on the last pick for somebody, but you know, other songs like Love off of 3121, is it? I mean, just that it's just these songs that there's no reason why they shouldn't be like massive smashes on the radio. It's like, I don't understand what's happening here.
Well, he's got too many hits.
You get too many hits. Too many hits.
Too many hits.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny what you just said there. And I'm wondering, I wish there was probably more of a connection and partnership in, you know, understanding what the artist is doing. I remember, you know, Jimi Hendrix talking about, you know, you haven't even heard Purple Haze, right? Like he talks about, you know, sort of what happens once the artist creates their product and how they think it should go or be delivered versus what actually happens, right? And how the industry takes it and it kind of moves in a direction. But just again with Prince though, he's such a prodigious talent. And if you're able to just take that long ride of the arc through his whole catalog, it's a long ride with ups and downs. And again, sometimes you're able to, you know, catch the bus before the bus leaves, or you miss that stop. Maybe you pick it up, or maybe you're taking a train to get to where he is. But just that level of genius, obviously very reminiscent of, say, Miles Davis, right? That what I created back then was back then. Where I am now, I can Black Sweat, right? This is where I am now. And I need you to come with me if you want to continue this journey with me. I'm over here. I'm not back there. And I know that was one of the things he always had to figure out with like his concerts, right? Like, I can't play everything, right? Concerts only so long. It's not like he has 16 hours to do a concert, right? So which songs he can put into the arrangement of the show, or the programming of the show, and what's in and what's out.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think a big part of what you were talking about, Stevie, is how when he would do his TV appearances, you would never know what he was going to bring. He seldom went for whatever was being pushed as a single. He would just totally do his own thing. And I just love that so much.
Yes.
All right. I'm up.
All right. You're up. Number 4.
Number 4.
See what you got.
I'm going back 20 years prior, Duane, to your pick, and going with the track that was the 5th track on his 8th album, Parade, and also the B-side to the Another Lover Hole in the Head. I'm going with Girls and Boys.
Nice. Nice.
So
all right,
that 12-inch, although it's the same version for Girls and Boys as on the album. That track, again, to me was just, when I first heard it, I was just like, what is happening in this song? It had so many unusual sounds and just that rhythm and the, finger cymbals and just so much going on, and that catchy chorus.
Yeah.
It was a mind trip, as well as being super funky. And I was so glad too, just with Parade and tracks like that he'd come back to the funk so much, because Around the World in a Day really, and even Purple Rain, really didn't have a whole lot of funk. There was threads of it, but they weren't funky like he was, before that with 1999 and so forth. So with Parade and tracks like Girls and Boys, he came back to it, and he was not only back to the funk, but he was innovating like, crazy, because nobody was doing funk like that, It was also in Spike Lee's movie again, Girl 6, and it's in Under the Cherry Moon, which is, there's not a ton of the songs in that movie, but that is one of them. I have a notes here. It was recorded Eden Prairie.
Yes.
And first record to include musical contributions from Eric Leeds.
Yep.
And later was covered by Marcus Miller, incredible bass player. And it had Macy Gray on it, who Chris is well familiar with Macy Gray.
Yep.
So, Girls and Boys, man, come on.
At that baritone, Eric Leeds, there's certain people in Prince's career I can say you can hear how he bent the sound. Sheila came in, I think she bent the sound. I think Wendy and Lisa bent the sound. I think Eric bent the sound. Just going in a certain direction. It's always going to be Prince, but they're adding something that takes him a little bit different. And the baritone stuff in that was just so, that riff is the song. You just hear that and you're going, yeah, okay, got it. It's just great. I honestly, that period with Eric and what that band was at that moment was just so tight. There's just so many things they're good at. Yeah.
The groove is so hypnotic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
And it's right around the same time he did Love or Money too, which is great too. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good call.
All right.
Very,
Well, that
good,
rounds
very
out.
freeing. It just felt like a free,
Yeah.
just let it go,
Mm-hmm.
That wraps up round 4. I think we're on to our final round here.
Who's
So,
in the lead right now? Who's in the lead?
I think we should
Is
probably
there-
go back and let Dwayne lead off
Dude,
round
that's not
5.
fair. That's
we'll
not fair.
end it as we started it.
I'll do it. I got it now, but I got I lost one of mine because I lost Erotic City. So let me look at my alt list here because I'm
Pivot time.
I would say, okay, Days of Wild, the single version,
Good one.
because it contains Maceo. It's a live version from Quebec. It's from the One Night Alone tour, which we were talking about earlier. It's just a great song. I mean, every version of that song is great. And I keep thinking, I can tell why he couldn't decide on one, because it is so good. It just seems to keep, it's like, there's just something about it that is infectious. And when he has a good song like that and he brings it live, it rewrites the whole song. You know, there's certain songs he does that with. America, he did that with, where all of a sudden added things to this and you're going, damn, this is like a different song. And I almost feel like he doesn't quite finish the song until he does it live like that. You know, one of these things where there's a lot of songs that sound different on the album. Then when he presents it to the crowd, it's a combination of the crowd and him and the band, and it morphs over time too. That's the other fun thing, is somebody like Prince doesn't play like the beginning of the Purple Rain tour is different than the end of the tour, because he had different songs and different, you know, he'd bring out different things. He'd play it until he did. I think Days of Wild is like that, because there's a lot of different, you can hear it in different ways he does it. It's a great song. I just think it's just one of those quality get up and move songs. You cannot sit in your seat. You know, he gets asses out of the seat. And I love that. So
it's got so much energy. And I think actually the live version of that song was the first one that I heard before the studio version, because it was a bootleg concert that I guess, I don't know if, I can't remember where it was at. Maybe it was at Paisley Park, but Tevin Campbell was there, and it's the Soul Asylum, that one concert that's in heavy rotation or whatever. But that was actually probably the first time that I had heard Days of Wild, was the live version, and it was like so much energy and so pumped. So I agree. The live version of that is just stomp. Not that there's anything wrong with the recorded version, but it's just so much energy that is in that live version. And anytime they play it at like dance parties or whatever, it just
everybody gets up.
The floor is packed. The floor is packed.
I agree.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm sorry, is that on Crystal Ball or?
Yes, there's I think, it is. There's a call. Yeah, my version, which doesn't have anything to it.
Yep. Yeah. I think I have the square version of that. Yeah.
I ordered it and never got it, so I ended up having to buy it at Walmart or Walgreens or whatever.
I got mine. I was one of the lucky ones, I guess.
Yeah, I never got mine. I don't even think
you have the crystal ball, Scott? You have the crystal ball?
Well, no, this was through the website through him.
Oh, okay.
It came like that.
Yeah. I don't think I got the booklet. In here.
But that track, I mean, you heard it live for so long before it was finally out in any form. And, I can't hear the title without thinking MF, Days of Wild,
Yeah.
And that period is just one of my favorite periods, where he was doing the whole slave thing and the Warner Brothers fight, and just the music was so funky back then. And the band was great with Michael on drums and Sonny on bass and Morris Hayes. It was killer, just killer.
And Michael will tell on the show, Michael will be more than happy to talk about the stories of those days. And every single show he talks about those days, and always new stories coming out of him. But to see them doing their thing here is just, they were undeniable. It was like a freight train that you just, it was just amazing. It's just such a great, strong, energetic, powerful period, especially live. I don't think it really translated well on record. Not that it didn't, but I think that you missed a lot of what Prince was trying to do unless you got to see him live in the 90s. I think there was a lot lost in translation between the live performances that he was doing back in those days and what ended up on recording. There was such a disparity between the two. But I mean, good pick, Duane. Yeah, good pick.
Now, will that be part of the NPG, the New Power Generation? Is that group?
It was the NPG during but let me think.
They weren't.
That was from the One Night Alone tour.
No, One Night Alone was Rainbow Children tour. Okay, the other One Night Alone.
That was from that. I know that the version that was released from that tour, and I don't know if it was an NPG thing, but NPG got very vague in that period. I don't
during
know.
that time. Okay, yeah.
I always get confused because there's a very distinct different. It's almost like
Mhm.
you want to talk about who the musicians were as opposed to who was in the NPG. Or the
Yeah,
NPG.
that's true. That's true. Because I kind of tie when you mentioned Michael Bland, I remember him, and like to me, it's a pair, Michael Bland and
Yeah.
Sonny. That's how I kind of think.
Right.
That's
Right.
how I think of it. So nice.
And, yeah.
There's two live recordings that were happening. One was from Paisley Park, and one was from the Quebec
Montreal.
show.
Yeah.
In Canada. Yeah. So yeah, and those are the ones that people mostly know. It's just
Yeah, and I guess Maceo. So again, we're going back to the funk. He's saying Maceo, so I wanted to make it. I start and I end with a Maceo. So
there you go. All right, good job.
All right,
can't go wrong with
nicely
it. Can't go
done.
wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that.
No, you can't. All right. So then if we keep with the rotation, let's let, I guess, Stevie go next.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna go with
Last pick.
Is it my last one?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with the
Well,
90s one then,
yeah.
and I will go. You know what? I'm gonna go with just to get out of the 80s. I think I've been there a lot. With Sexy MF.
Good one.
I'm gonna go with that.
That's a good one.
Right. So
Good one.
so again, I think that's from the Symbol album around.
Yes.
I can't remember exactly 1993ish or something like that. I can't remember exactly what year.
Symbol
But,
was 93.
93. Okay. Yes.
Or
Yes.
92?
Is it 92? Can't remember exactly.
92. 92, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like Diamonds and Pearls was out, and then I think that came afterwards. But yeah, Sexy MF. And just to take, was it Leon Sercer Jr., the guitarist?
Right.
And, you know, a lot of MFs come out. And, you know, Prince is like, hey, you know, we're going to do this, and I'm going to tell you when to say it. And they played it, stopped, and then he's like, Leon, he points to him and he says it and it all falls in line. But it's just like the funkiest thing, one of the funkiest things out there. You know, just jamming. And then again, the horns, the lyrics, even though I guess they had to be bleeped out quite a bit with the radio, with the airing. But again, it was just like a consistent thing for Prince to bring that genius to any moment. You know, and I think Sam Cooke just said like the best thing for some of the creativity of coming up things is just observation. So to just listen to one of his own bandmates, a phrase that he uses all the time, and then take that and we're going to turn it almost like that you know, that Daring song, you know, where with Sheena Easton. I mean, just taking something and taking off from there, and somebody comes up with something like this. Amazing.
Right. Yep.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I think Sexy MF for me. I mean, that was on one of the alternates, but I kind of pushed it off the list, and it was really mainly because of, you know, the excessive profanity. Because I'm trying to, you know, I don't have any problems with it. I mean, obviously, it's such a great song. The funny story I have about Sexy MF is that around that time I was working at a church at a very, very well-known. I guess he's a televangelist. He happens to be on television. And I remember I just got done seeing Prince in concert during this period. And the associate pastor comes into my office and closed the door and says, "How was the Prince concert last night?" I was like, "It was good." And he looks around the door and he closes the door tight and he goes, "Did he sing Sexy Motherfucker?" Like the associate pastor is in my office. Singing Sexy MF in a church, inside the church. I was like,
that's how good the song is.
That is undeniable. That goes to that level.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good story. That's a good story. I think the original story I'd heard about the song was Levi had said that he used to use that phrase a lot. He'd go and say, "Hey, you sexy MF, you sexy MF," and Prince heard that and said, "We got to make a song out of this." So yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
To me, it was his most overt homage to James Brown to that point. You know, I mean, that purely came from a James Brown type of groove.
Sure.
And he didn't, you know, wear his influences on his sleeve too much. He kind of would actually push away from them and deny that even he had these influences at different times. But on that one, I mean, he fully embraced the James Brown, you know, legacy, I thought.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Way to bring it home, Stevie. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Chris, what you got up your sleeve there, man?
Literally, no joke. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alternates that I could bounce off of. And so now I got to try to figure out which one I want to close with. This is very, very difficult.
No pressure.
Yes, no pressure. I mean, you said we could have some honorable mentions, so
We will.
Yes.
Yes.
I got a couple of those. Yeah.
yeah. So I guess I'll close with the title track to a little album called 3121. 3121. The title track to this album is a monster. Just the lyrics to the visuals, between the wine glasses with chocolate handles and leaving your clothes on the floor, and it's just like it is the epitome of a great funk track that just makes you just kind of bounce in that it's just this, it's got that growl, it's got that bounce to it. What's even cooler is that my wife and I have been married. 9/11 is our anniversary. We were actually married on 9/11, 2 years before the attacks happened. And then 2 years after that, my wife went into labor with my daughter on 9/11.
Oh my gosh.
So 9/11 is a very strange day for me. It's my anniversary and also my daughter's birthday. But what's cool about this is that we went down to my in-laws, my grandparents-in-law, her grandparents, and we pulled up to their house, and guess what their address was?
Oh my God.
3121.
3121. Cool.
And,
That's great. That's great.
So, and I made sure I have a picture of that somewhere, but that it's just such a great song. It's just got this ba 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 ba. It's kind of like a little bit faster than the pick of When Will We Be Paid. It's still got that same bounce. It's just kind of just this. It's just one of these tracks. Yeah, I'm going to close out with 3121. I think that's one of the strongest.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Strongest tracks off of that album. And this album hadn't gotten any love yet, so that's the reason I'm going with that one right there.
All right.
It's got that sound in it too. That's like a rusty pipe turning or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like adds to that. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever got a chance of your headphone person, but there's a company called Status that makes these headphones called Status, and in each one of these headpieces there are 3 speakers for high, mids, and lows in each thing. And if you ever listen to that 3121 album or even Rainbow Children, in that dynamic where everything is just completely surrounding you, that song just comes alive. And and it's got a bunch of little weird intricacies like that. Scott, good call.
Nice.
We were just talking about how he would do the unexpected with like live performances, and I had just recently I hadn't seen it in so long on YouTube, the NAACP performance where he brings out 3121.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who expected him even to do that track? And it was so cool to me that he did it. Yeah.
Such a monster track.
Yeah, agreed. Good call. All right, Scott, you bringing it home?
Nice.
Bringing it home with number 5.
Playing cleanup.
I'm going to go way back to near the beginning, actually.
Okay.
I think I'm traveling back like 26 years from you, Chris, and going with perhaps the most controversial track on what some might say is the most controversial album, which is Dirty
Head?
Mind. And we had Sexy MF. I'm going with Head.
Yeah.
That's one of my alternatives. That was on my
One of
list.
mine.
That was on my
Yeah.
list.
What's on my list?
It's a good call.
Undeniably hardcore funk. The groove of Head is just mind-blowing, and the lyrics just make it more fun and kind of like something you shouldn't be doing listening to it. So it was recorded in May to June in Prince's house in home studio in Orono, Minnesota, and completed Hollywood Sound. This was the first song that introduced Lisa, and it was the song that really got Chapman to bail, because on the live versions, she didn't dig it with the French kissing with Prince and all that. So it kind of got Gail Chapman, the original keyboard player before Lisa, to take off. And of course, Lisa became a mainstay. But love that track. At the time when it came out, I was buying these records when they came out. And so I had them in all succession because I started with Soft and Wet. And, and then this came as the third record. And it was just like, oh my gosh, simply amazing. And the funkiest track, definitely, at least until he did Let's Work, which you can argue, but love that track. Ed.
Great track.
Choice.
Yeah.
And Doctor, the Fink solo, amazing on synth.
I wrote it when I was making my notes. I wrote the funkiest song on Dirty Mind, which is not strictly a funk album, more of a new wave or pop album, but definitely funk had to be represented. And that's, I think there's a reason we all wanted that song on this list.
Yes.
I'm shocked that it waited to the very last slot.
Yes, again, I thank you so much.
We all conspired to make sure you had that. It's your show. We want you to look good.
I appreciate that. My biggest burn really was just DMSR. Otherwise, I was pretty good. So.
Yeah. Doing head at the tail end.
Yeah. Our final round had both.
They could lead with that. Yes, head first.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Days of Wild is a little risque too. So, all right. So let's do our honorables. You can pick 3 to 5. Let's say. Let's jump in with Chris. You seem like you're ready to go. So give us your honorable mentions.
Yeah, we're not going to do like any real other than a little quick one sentence back thing on anything. But
and if you have the record, hold it up if you would.
Yes. But, all right. So we'll go back to Rainbow Children, since there was a couple tracks that were off of this album that did not get called out. The first one being Family Name. Family Name is just such a great historical track. There's so much of Prince kind of went way off in a lot of different ways with the chemtrails and all the other things that he taught and learned, and he's really showing that he's really the teacher on that one. Family Name on this one, also on this album. Everlasting Now off of this album too. That's another one that's on this.
It's great one.
Of course, it's hard to deny the title track of Controversy. It's very, very difficult to deny the title track of Controversy, and also Sexuality too, but I kind of left that one off. But the title track of Controversy, and just 2 more. 3121, going back to that, the song Get on the Boat.
Good one.
Get on the Boat is a great closing track. And my final one is going to be off of Hit and Run Phase 2, the little track called Stare.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
so those are my
nice.
Those are mine.
Another amazing bass riff on Stare, and Family Name was one of my main alternates. I love that track.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Incredible.
Great song.
Yeah.
Well done.
Right.
Well done.
Nice.
Stevie, what do you got for honorables?
Honorables, let's see. Well, I'm going to start with the very first one. I'm going to go with Soft and Wet.
Good one.
Nice.
I'm going to go with Soft and Wet from the For You, 1978, and I will return to Sign of the Times with If I Was Your Girlfriend.
Great track.
I think that was just incredible. And again, the lyrics of this man just always just floored me. From the Black Album, I believe, I think it's Black Album. Is it Chlorine Bacon Skin?
No, that was on the 1999 box set.
No, wasn't that Crystal Ball?
Crystal Ball.
Maybe it's Crystal Ball. Chlorine Bacon Skin. That's what it is.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So Chlorine Bacon Skin. That's one of those. So that's 3. What I get? 2 more.
It's like 18 minutes, right? Chlorine Bacon Skin. Something like that.
Good one.
Yeah. I love Positivity from Love Sexy.
Great. Yeah,
I just think it jams, and one of the demo versions I think is incredible of that.
Yeah,
and then I'll
go too,
yeah. And then I'll just end with Alphabet Street. I thought it was funky. When I first heard that, I locked in. I was with it.
Yep.
I was all with it. So, Yeah, man. It was I don't know. He's so incredible. Like I said, it crosses so many ways. I'm gonna have to say a sixth one if you don't mind. This is just so quick, but it's probably
As long
gonna.
as it's not one of mine.
Well, I promise it probably won't be because it's gonna probably skirt some of the slowest things. But Another Lonely Christmas, I'm sorry, is funky. It is not a slow song. It's funky, and I just am into it. You know. That was
All
one
right.
of those 1980. I'm sorry, Purple Rain.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
B-sides, C-sides, D-sides,
Yeah.
one of those,
Mhm.
but just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
All right, Duane.
I will go back
Good
to a
diversity
B-side.
on that
I,
one.
I got
Go
a
ahead.
couple here. B-side Shockadelica.
Yes.
I'm actually shocked that didn't come out. I really thought that somebody would be grabbing that one. That's why I had that as an alt, because that's just a solid,
That is
especially
true.
the longer version of it. B-side of If I Was Your Girlfriend.
Yep.
And I'm always shocked, like you talked about earlier, how he hid
And majesty.
so many amazing songs. Exactly. How he hid so many amazing songs on B-sides. I mean,
Mhm.
you can do a fantastic album of just his B-sides from 83 to 87, and just have a solid album that is better than most other people. So another one, Rebirth of the Flesh. Rehearsal of it was released on NPG Music, physically on the Silent Times Super Deluxe. So I don't know if that would technically be allowed, because it isn't really.
It's an honorable. We'll
No,
let it go.
it was released. It's released.
That's kind of my
It's
thought.
been
Was,
officially
yeah,
released.
yeah. So again, Eric leads on that. Just he always brings the funk. Just the stuff he did with him. I just think he made so. You could tell that Eric learned from Maceo and things like that. You could tell that they speak the same voice, and he learned at the feet of the master. And also James Brown. Just you can hear Eric and Alan both experts on that era, and you could hear it whatever they do. I would also add Hide the Bone. You get Sonny, Tommy, and Prince and Michael B. I mean, which is to me a core of the funk. It's just don't stop the groove. Bone,
Love it.
bone. Those are good. I would add a couple cheats here, and I apologize about this. We Can Funk, which is technically George Clinton, but it's on a Prince album. I would add two that I wanted to add, but the rules did not allow this. Mutiny, which I think is a great song, even though I know we're not supposed to do that. And The Exodus Has Begun, which is an MPG song, but it really is Prince. And The Exodus, that's why I've thought that's, to me, Exodus Has Begun should have been at my number one pick, because I feel like that is about as funky as he gets. And it is, we go back to the thick. It's just, there's just something about it, and you can't stop it. It's 10 minutes long. You're just like, this is so good. I don't want it to stop. Whereas some things like America is 20 minutes long. I can't get through that.
It's too much. There's not enough variety in that extended version. It's like, I don't.
Exactly. But you get something like The Exodus Has Begun, and it understays its welcome at 10 minutes. So that's my thought on that. So those are all mine. So I know I cheated at the end. I apologize. I know I'll get more points to the swimsuit competition after this. This will be part of this thing. Like I said earlier. Yeah. So, but that's what I.
Yeah, I have one lone one, but I'm going to let Scott do his list because it may be on there. We already talked about it when we didn't drop it. So go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, so Hide the Bone was one of my main alternates as well, along with Family Name. But some of the other ones that you guys didn't mention that I had down here, Sexy Dancer,
Good one.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sexual Suicide,
Good one.
Yep.
Solid one.
Rock Hard in a Funky Place.
Thank you.
That's all we're going to mention. You're all going to mention. That was one of my alts.
Yes.
Hold on a second, guys. I got to pause one second.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a great pick. And as it kind of moved off of me of my honorable mentions, I was like, man, I forgot to do Rock Hard in a Funky Place. And I probably would have slipped. I don't know. There's nothing in here that I wouldn't have taken out. So I would have just been another one. But yeah, Rock Hard in a Funky Place is such a great song. If not, no offense to LaGrind, but I think Rock Hard in a Funky Place is definitely probably the funkiest track off of the Black Album, in my opinion.
It's my pick. on there.
It's a great bookend for the thing. You got LaGrind starting it and Rock Hard's ending it. So
Yeah.
they're both solid, but it's to me, it's a solid way to end the album.
Yeah,
And great,
it's a
great
time.
fading out and everything like this. It's just perfect. I agree. It was literally I was tossing a coin between LaGrind and Rock Hard. So,
Yeah, man, what a great song.
yeah.
And I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wanted to add, mentioning
Nice.
sexual suicide. To me, it always reminded me a little bit of Girls and Boys, which I did pick. And then two other picks. One of my favorite all-time Prince songs, I'm going to go with, and you can debate if it's funk or not. I think at least parts of it are pretty damn funky, and that's the title track, Crystal Ball. You know, it's so epic
Yeah,
and got so many parts to it, and there's definitely plenty of funk in there. And
Yeah.
again, it's sort of like the trippy funkadelic kind of places it goes, you know.
yeah, it's all over the map. That's a great
Yeah.
track. Yeah,
And I guess as a fifth one, I'm going to go with Race
Oh,
from
Nice.
Come.
load it
Nice.
off a come up.
You know,
nice,
yeah.
nice, nice,
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah,
line, I'm
nice.
Mark Human, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's- yeah, that's got. I can already hear those little those little things. But yeah, there's so many great little bit that borderline funk tracks on that album, like Pheromone and
Yeah.
Space, especially the Universal Love. I mean, it's just gosh, there's just so many
I know.
great tracks off of that album.
and
Yeah,
was
the nice thing-
Race Race first in the interactive CD-ROM? I think it might have been one of the tracks. I'm not.
Gotta have to look that up. Yeah, I don't remember. I know it was originally done with Tony doing vocals, but it never came out. That was done during the Symbol period that they had Tony doing the lead vocals on that. That never came out. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess I
Now
thought
I
that-
do know.
I
I'm
thought
sorry
that
to
CD
interrupt.
I thought the CD-ROM had interactive, endorphin machine, and Race, perhaps.
if you're reading somewhere, probably right. I can't remember. Yeah,
There is, and I'm trying to remember where it's at, but all of the websites that Sam Jennings had designed for Prince are still out there. He actually has it on one website that you can actually go to, and you can go to all the websites that Prince ever had, from Lotus Flower to including some of the interactive stuff, some of the MPG Music Club stuff. All of them are he's put into one site, so you can actually revisit.
that's cool. Good.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the URL is.
Sam's great. And Sam's got so much information
on.
about that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great.
And since you mentioned a couple more, I got to mention the long version of "Lay It Down," and also the 12-inch of "Kiss." So
That's a good one. Yeah.
Good one. Yeah, yeah, I agree. You know, the cool thing about this, I have to admit, the format of this gave me the reason to listen to a lot of stuff I hadn't heard for a while. And I went back into it. I'm a big fan, but there's times you just kind of, you know, there are certain things in life gets in your way. So it gave me the excuse to go through a stack of CDs and start listening, going, oh yeah, I forgot how funky this is. And because you have certain ones that come to mind right away, but to know that there's ones that I forgot about, and I had to go back and damn, that's really better than I remember. So that was fun to me. And also hearing it at this space in my life, you know, because some of the stuff was from 20, 30 years ago, you forget, and you forget how it makes you feel. And music is a great time machine to take you back to where you were.
Yes.
And so-
Yes. Yes.
well, I
Music
got
100% agree.
smells.
100% agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got to give you guys great credit, great picks. Thank you for coming up with them. And so usually what we do about now is I do a round robin. And, you know, if you guys have like a final thought, you kind of gave a final thought right there. But I also want you guys to plug anything you want to plug or have going on. So let's go up to the top of my screen and let Stevie give a final thought and plug his radio show or anything else you might want to.
Sure. Well, just final thought of the genius has been exactly that. Again, I mean, we talked about the influences. I mean, even the concerts, the James Brown influenced dance steps, and so his showmanship on top of the musicality of the man, and again the lyrics. I just think he was just a complete package, and it was refreshing to see when it first appeared in the late 70s, or you know, mid to late 70s if you're from that area. I was born in Minneapolis, but I left when I was 4, so I cannot say I have a connection there. But just throughout, to have that type of a prodigious talent, and we had a chance to really grow up with him. So I feel blessed, really. I was born in '65, so a few years younger, but had a chance to really enjoy that ride with him through his musical arc, and it was as funky as you want it to be. And yeah, so again, my name is Stevie G, Steve Grievous, Stevie G, KPFA 94.1 FM radio with Ricky Vincent. And the show is called The History of Funk. It happens every Friday night from 10 to midnight. So I'll be doing a solo show tomorrow night. But then Ricky will be back with me the week after, and we'll continue co-hosting the funk. And Ricky Vincent is the man with what he's done, and he's allowed me to pair with him on that funk journey. So definitely enjoy it, and have enjoyed so much. Duane, Chris, and of course Scott, thank you so much for this opportunity to spend some time doing the funk on Prince. It's been amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Stevie. And I want to mention that is Pacific time that you gave for the
correct. That is specific time. Excuse me, Pacific time, not specific. Pacific.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Stevie. Duane, what's your final thought? Do you want to plug something? Feel free.
Yeah. I want to mention this gave me a really good excuse to go through a lot of old music I hadn't heard for a while. And so it's a lot of fun revisiting places that take you back and hearing what I hadn't heard for a long time and kind of, going through different periods. I remember friends that I was listening to, that I was with at certain times, friends that have passed away. And I just remember times that, because some of this stuff is a couple decades old, and it still feels fresh. It still feels funky, and it still feels important and vital. And I think that's the big thing. I think a show like this gives us the chance to kind of shine a light onto some things that we might not have been thinking about. Because also he's got so many different things, pop, all these different genres, to shine a light on funk, which is one of his strong points. And we're going to get off this tonight, and we're all going to sit there going, I should have mentioned, and we'll have 20 songs off the top of our head. And that's kind of the magic of this guy, is that he has so many things, and they're all somewhat different. We hear memories and little pieces that of his DNA in them, but they're all, different. And it all was influenced by the people around him too. You get the, Michael B stuff and Sonny and things, but you also have the Eric Leeds period, and then you have Maceo, and each one brought something slightly different to each one. So I like that. So thank you for the invite and for the excuse to this. What I'm doing right now, I'm still working on book 3 for my book series about the stuff, and looking to make the third book. Thank you. There's both of these.
That's the first one.
Yes, exactly. So looking to doing the third book will be the third studio session book is going to be 87, 88, and maybe even 89. We're not sure yet. So that's what we're working on. I know it's a lot. And I'm trying to crank that too. I got another book I'm coming out with before then, Prince related, but I don't want to talk about that one yet. It's going to be a fun one. I think that people are going to enjoy that one. And with the books I'm doing, somebody came up with an idea, instead of me signing all these books, doing a book plate where I'm just signing the book plate like that. You can see that. Whereas, then it goes inside. So that way people in Europe and things like this can get them. They just order them. And I think that makes it a little bit better, because I want to give signed books to people if they want them. But, sending one of those books through across the pond is like $100 for shipping everything. This is like not worth it. So I want people to buy them locally so they can have them, save $50. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm in pre-production of a documentary I'm working on about a band called Crack the Sky, which is a Baltimore band, and we're trying to work out all the details about that right now. I'm traveling to Boulder to watch some shows this month with them. They're doing their 50th anniversary, and this has been a band that is considered to be the Beatles of Baltimore. And the band still has 4 of the original 5 members in it. But at one point, everybody in the band has been out of the band, at least one point. But it's a band that I grew up with listening to, and because I'm a guy from Baltimore, and so this is my homegrown music. So I'm pretty excited about that one. So we'll see. Hopefully there'll be some more news and things about that coming up soon. So
nice. Is there a website you wanted to mention, or?
My website is DuaneTudahl.com. It's just the spelling of my name. And when we start doing the fundraising for this, I'll let everybody know about that one. But you can order my books or anything else you want from me from my website. Yeah, thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you, Duane.
Sure, thank you.
Chris, what's your thought, and what do you want to share?
Well, I've said this many, many times that, a lot of people say, oh, Prince is funky. And yeah, he's definitely funky. And I think that tonight proved that he's one of these artists that is, there's not, outside of 1999, there's not really an album that is consistently funk from front to back.
Right.
It's just hit every single album. He's always all over the place as far as the styles and the influences and the way that it kind of was pieced together. There is no album that's really truly funky, and 1999 is the funkiest album that he has. But there's still songs like Free and International Lover, which still has, elements in it. But that just kind of goes to show some of the brilliance and the mastery of the way that he performed and the music that he created, and how he had so many different influences that it was diverse enough to be able to attract no matter what kind of music you were into. It was like anytime a friend comes along that is into a certain kind of music, I always have something that I can turn them to. If they like jazz, I turn them on to News or the Expectation album. If they like rock, I'll give them Chaos and Disorder. If they like, there's something for everybody in his repertoire. So it was really, really cool to be able to kind of hear what your interpretations were of the tracks that were funk that I hadn't really considered or thought of in the past. But all that being said, obviously he's one of our absolutely my favorite artists. You can obviously tell by my you can't really see a lot of my office, but it is covered in Prince stuff, and then even back here it's just mostly all Prince books and of course Duane's and stuff. So huge influence, and somebody that I considered a friend and who actually had a chance to meet, and it's just amazing. But the website is Funkatopia, FUNKATOPIA.com. There's an A in the middle there. It seems like every time that Prince tweeted or Facebook posted about us, he always left the A out of the middle, so it was always Funktopia. But at least the URL was right, so the link was correct, so that's good. So that didn't cause any problems, but it did cause a domain squatter to pick up Funktopia and is trying to, wants to charge me like 25 grand or whatever it is to get it from him. I was like, it doesn't matter, because when you type it in, it says, did you mean Funkatopia? So it's all good. But yeah, we have a podcast. It's myself and my co-host is NPG drummer Michael Bland. He has been on board since 2025, but we have had a variety of different people that have been in the mix in the past. It's been a long journey. It's been going on for 20 years. We have a podcast. We also have a 24/7 funk radio station and a 24/7 Prince radio station that you can listen to online. And it's also an app too. You can get it on both for Apple and also for Android. So you can get it. And both radio stations are also ASCAP licensed and global music rights licensed too. I actually pay the licensing to play the music, so it's not this rogue pirate station. And Prince heard it before he passed. He liked it, so that was cool. And that's the other thing too, is that I continue making sure that we are going to keep pushing his legacy forward, although we're Funkatopia, not Princetopia, but we're very, very Prince heavy, and our audience is very, very Prince heavy. So if you are a huge Prince fan, please download the app. It's called Funked Up, FUNKEDUP, Funked Up, or you can just search for Funkatopia and you'll find it there. Check out the podcast. It happens on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. And we do it every Tuesday night, and there's plenty to see no matter where you go. YouTube.com/Funkatopia, Facebook.com/Funkatopia. Many followers, over 100,000 followers across our social media platforms. So it's been a great journey. And thanks for the opportunity to be able to hang out with you guys and share a little bit of just kind of geek out on Prince a little bit. I'm always all up for that. So yeah, that's it.
It's a great show, and I will tell you again. I'm always pushing it. Mr. Christopher has a great show, so definitely watch that. So
yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
And I haven't Stevie's. I gotta hear Stevie's show now. This is
well, if you don't mind, if I could add, because I wasn't thinking about this medium. I haven't done a podcast before, so I've only done the radio. So what Scott had mentioned about the time zone, I even plug into that. Again, the History of Funk comes on every Friday night from 10 to midnight, and that's Pacific Standard Time. And it's you can still get the archives. So at KPFA, the History of Funk, there's an archive spot there, so you can get the shows. So it's kpfa.org. And so Stevie G on the History of Funk with Ricky Vincent. History of Funk is what we do. Thank you.
Nice.
So I'm going to do a little closing spiel here, but before I do that, I just want to thank all of you guys. And I want to say to the viewers, definitely support the media that these guys do. They're keeping the funk alive. They're keeping Prince legacy alive. And so kudos to them. With that, I hope that you enjoyed this edition of Jam Fans Forum. Check out the description of this video for links to the songs we talked about. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video, and also subscribe to the channel. Drop your own personal choices for the top 5 Prince songs, funk songs, that is, specifically, of all time into the comments. We want to know what you think. Also put in the comments other categories you'd like to see covered on this show. The next time around, we'll reveal the top 5 funk flashes in the pan picks. So like one-hit funk wonders. And that'll be on the next Jam Fans Forum. So for now, as always, this is Scott, Dr. Jake Skolfine, saying, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.
Welcome to the Funk Show. Funk, yeah. Welcome to the Funk